Hi people, my name is Dave D and I've been working in the field of hydrogen research since 2007, and I've developed a way to produce hydrogen from water that is super efficient. My goal today, my project, is to raise $35,000 to purchase a diesel generator and convert it to run 100% on hydrogen using my hydrogen fuel maker. This is just a mock-up. In a moment I'll show you a video of the prototype working, and let me explain a little bit why this is important. First of all, water is the perfect fuel, but it has to be broken down. When it's broken down, it forms hydrogen and oxygen. Now this is the exciting part. Hydrogen and oxygen gas, or Brown's gas, has 3 times the power of gasoline by weight. When you burn it, however, it doesn't make smog or nasty exhaust. It doesn't pollute the atmosphere. It makes water vapor. In other words, you use water for fuel, you break it down into Brown's gas efficiently using my new device, and then it converts back to water vapor, and the water vapor that it converts to is even more pure than what you began with. So it's perfectly recyclable, and it's non-polluting, and it has 3 times the energy of gasoline. That's why I'm so interested in water for fuel. In fact, I wrote a book, an ebook, and it's really just a research report that tells about how you can use water for fuel. It's called Secrets of Using Water for Fuel, and you can get a hold of a copy if you'd like to support my work. My work, I'll go into what I'm actually going to do. I need to purchase a generator, a diesel generator. I'm going to work with a 30 kilowatt unit so that it can power an entire house. Along with that, of course, I have to build a unit like this, except it's going to have probably 10 or 20 cells to produce enough hydrogen to run the generator. And I'm also going to need to produce or build a storage system using a hydride tank. All of that's available. It's not too complicated. But the diesel generator needs to be converted. So my mechanic and myself will remove the head and convert it to plasma ignition. It's going to have a spark ignition instead of compression ignition. We'll also revalve the injectors and make a new fuel rail so that it takes the hydrogen instead of diesel fuel. Once we've done that, I expect the unit will work at 5 liters per minute of hydrogen, which is a relatively attainable figure. You can make as much hydrogen as you want. Okay, moving on. It's going to cost about $35,000 for me to acquire the generator, do the experimenting, make the modifications, and also build my circuit and my entire water fuel cell that produces pure hydrogen. What is the benefit for you? Okay, let's get down to brass tacks. When you're burning fuel oil, or if you're using electricity for heat or for powering your house, you're on the grid. When I'm successful with my device, you will actually be able to have your own home power generator that produces its own hydrogen fuel and stores it safely in hydride tanks. Now, a lot of people might think hydrogen's dangerous. It's actually safer than gasoline, safer than propane for that matter. In a hydride tank, you can actually shoot a bullet right into the tank, and it will leak, but it's not going to explode. It can't, because the hydrogen is absorbed into the pellets in the tank. So there's not much more I can tell you at this point, except that I know I can do this. I have 7 years of experience working with hydrogen, and I've made some amazing discoveries over those years, including the use of argon water to cut the power required to make hydrogen fuel. I've cut it by about 30 to 1. So the fact of the matter is, the hydrogen generator that I build using my new invention, a water fuel cell with my new circuit, and something called this is actually a Nunez coil. It's based on a Rodan coil. I don't know if you can see that. will cut the power needed to make hydrogen by a tremendous factor, which means that the generator itself can produce its own fuel and still produce enough electricity to run your household. I know it sounds impossible. You'll need to read the book to find out exactly how I do it. I'll just show you a picture of the hydrogen generator, and I would be very grateful for your support. Thanks so much for watching, and Godspeed. Bye-bye. Hi, this is Dave at Powergate, and I've just completed a short report. It's called Secrets of Using Water for Fuel, and I've been building hydrogen devices that produce HHO, or brown sky gas, since 2007. This is one of them. I'll give you a little look at the way it's set up inside here. Okay, hopefully you can get a good look at that. And the remarkable thing about this is you can produce your own clean fuel, and it's renewable, recyclable, using water. Hydrogen is just about the perfect fuel. When you burn it in oxygen, it turns back into water, so you lose nothing. What we have here is an ammeter, and I'm going to show you that this takes almost no amps. Right now it's at 0 because it's not turned on, and I'll show you how simple it is. What we have over here is just a regular ordinary laptop battery charger, and it works at 18.5 volts, plugs right into the wall outlet, and 3.5 amps. So if you add that up, basically it's about 65 watts. That's not much more than a very low amp, low watt light bulb, like a 60 watt light bulb. Okay, what I'm going to do is plug this in, and I'm going to show you the hydrogen, or HHO gas, that's produced, and then we'll look at the amps. Stand by. You can see there's a tremendous amount of HHO just pouring out of this unit. Back off just a little bit so you can see. The whole container is filling up with hydrogen, or HHO bubbles. And believe me, if you were crazy enough to light those bubbles, you would get a very loud explosion. Now, while we're doing this, let's look at the ammeter. As you can see, it's barely over 0. We're hardly using any power whatsoever. So what we've got here is a way to produce your own fuel that is non-polluting, and you can actually run a motor with the hydrogen from this fuel. We have 25 kilowatt up to 1 megawatt generators. They are basically converted diesel generators that run on pure hydrogen, and you can actually produce your own fuel using this type of device. This is just one cell. You can see how much output it has. Usually we'd put together 4, 6, 8, even 20 of these cells to get any amount of power that you possibly need. So I hope you take a chance on my book. It's called Secrets of Using Water for Fuel. And as you see, we're getting free fuel for just barely over an amp. This is like running a night light to power up your whatever you want to power up. Run an engine, you can heat your house, do whatever you need to. Okay, well, that's it. Powergate, over and out.